Sandbag Intensity, the 50-rep squat program, the ultimate guide to high-rep sandbag training, it's finally here. If you're looking for a program that gets straight to the point and gets right down to the core of what heavy sandbag lifting is, this is it. Free from all fluff and unnecessary clutter, Sandbag Intensity is a minimalist, put your head down and work kind of program. It's about showing up, getting it done, and getting out. It's about reps. Combining together heavy, high-rep sandbag lifting and high-rep calisthenics circuits, it's designed to rapidly increase strength endurance, muscle size, overall conditioning, and the power of the mind. It develops a body that both looks strong and powerful and will not quit. That part is important. It's the key feature of the program, a body that will not quit. Never before have I experienced a workout routine so effective and efficient at building both muscle and strength endurance at the same time. Speaking of strength endurance and muscle, Sandbag Intensity is more than just a training program. It's also a full-length book. Yes, I wrote another book, and I'm very proud of it. Unlike my first book, Sandbag Hypertrophy, which was a basic guide to heavy sandbag lifting more than anything, Sandbag Intensity is something just a bit different. While the second half of the book does go into great detail on the program itself, explaining why it's set up the way it is and everything that went into making it, giving you some real, usable training information, the first half is more about motivation. It's meant to get you excited about this stuff. Here's a passage from the chapter on strength endurance to give you an idea. Strength endurance is the strength to endure hardship in any environment. It's a representation of the desire to live, to go on living, and the love of life. Someone with true strength endurance looks at the hard parts of existence and smiles. He delights in the glory of challenge, of everything that isn't mundane and comfortable. Strength endurance is the strength of an adventurer, a traveler, an explorer, and a leader. It's the strength of a valuable and useful person. Strength endurance is the strength to move stone or lumber all day in the construction of a shelter. It's the strength to carry an injured person to safety from somewhere 5 miles deep in the woods, to trek 15 miles through waist-deep snow with an 80-pound pack, to scale a mountain after falling, and to keep fighting when it would be so much easier to give up. An epic feat of strength endurance is like a journey, filled with different stages of hardship and struggle, marked by countless opportunities to take the easy way out and quit. For those with the will, strength endurance is the path of the hero. It's the attribute we were made to have, and having it is wonderful. In today's video, I will give you the complete program as it's written in the book. I hope you'll like it. If you want a more detailed guide though, on the main program and on the few variations of it I made, some motivation, or if you just want to support me for the 1,000 hours I put into making Sandbag Intensity, I will have a link to it on Amazon in the description below. It's on sale for a discounted price at the time of this video's release. I should also note I did take a few sections directly from the book and use them in this video, mostly just when describing exercise technique and programming. I figured there was no reason to use a watered-down version of the writing I spent so long refining just for the sake of making this video a tiny bit different. Most of the book is not included in this video, just know a very small portion of it is. One last thing, if you've been running the Sandbag Hypertrophy program for a while and you want to try something new, I think Sandbag Intensity is the perfect choice. It's about as different from Sandbag Hypertrophy as you can get while still being a heavy sandbag and calisthenics circuit program. Even the best program can become stale after a while, and after running Sandbag Hypertrophy, or something very similar to it myself for well over a year, I had a lot of fun with Sandbag Intensity. It was just the break I needed. You can think of it as a side quest that offers an insane amount of experience. After a few months with the program, your base will be built so wide that when you do go back to Sandbag Hypertrophy or to another basic sandbag training routine, you'll find nothing that once challenged you stands a chance. Just about 6 months ago now, I found myself at a bit of a crossroads. My training had been pretty much the same for years at that point, sandbags and calisthenics, done with the goal of improving sandbag to shoulder strength above all else. I called the program I followed Sandbag Hypertrophy, and it worked very well. The idea behind it was pretty straightforward. Get better at the sandbag to shoulder, and the gains will follow. Training that way built me a lot of muscle, and it was a lot of fun too. Back to 6 months ago, I had a decision to make. I had been extremely lean for close to half a year at that point after a long, drawn-out cut, and it was time once again to go on a bulk. The choice was either stick with the tried and true Sandbag Hypertrophy training style or go in a different direction. After some careful thought, I had all but decided to stick with what I knew worked when I made a discovery. It was the first day of my bulk, and I had made it through most of a sandbag workout when I thought to myself, what if this isn't enough? What if all this work is for nothing and I fail? Is it actually a good idea to give up being shredded once again? I've had more than a few failed bulks over the years. It's safe to say I'm still a bit reluctant to bulk when it comes time to actually do it. Even though I knew the training worked, I had tested it myself, and hundreds of others had reached out to me on the effectiveness of the Sandbag Hypertrophy program, I still couldn't shake the feeling of uncertainty I had. I felt like I needed something more. What can I do to guarantee gains will be made? How can I rid myself of doubt? Well, I knew it would have to be something extreme, something that would push me beyond my limits to a place I'd never been before. Guaranteed results would take some real hard work. An idea started to form. At that point in the workout, the only thing left to do was a single max rep set of box squats. Up until that day, max reps usually meant something like 10 to 20, but standing there preparing myself for the set, I was hit with an idea. What if I did 50? Surely an all-out set of 50 reps would mean guaranteed success on this bulk. I think I could do it if I tried. I started to get excited about the idea. Good old-fashioned hard work and reps. After so long focused mainly on power and sets of 1 to 3, there was a certain appeal to the idea of going all the way to 50. I decided to go for it with my 150-pound sandbag, and I told myself I'd get it done even if I had to sit there all day. Fueled by a surplus of calories, I amped myself up, got into position, started squatting, and the rest is history. That set changed me. All said and done, it wasn't the most challenging set ever. I completed it in under 3 minutes, but it gave me insight into something new, into a different kind of sandbag training. It gave me a small glimpse of what could only be described as true intensity. Before I started lifting sandbags, I had been plateaued for years. I couldn't seem to add any muscle or strength. Sandbags got me past that. It took me a while to realize it, but the reason they worked so well was intensity, effort. I had been plateaued because I simply wasn't trying hard enough, as silly as that might sound. Sandbags made high-intensity training accessible, and that led to me building a lot of muscle, just about 18 pounds of pure lean mass in just about 2 years. Since then, I've come to understand that intensity is the driving force behind everything. It's the variable that supersedes all others. With the proper level of intensity, any program is likely to work, regardless of the training tool used. Sandbags taught me that lesson back when I first started working with them. They gave me a new understanding of what it means to train hard. Well, that set of box squats was like round 2. I thought I understood high-intensity training, but after that set, I realized up until that point, I had only been scratching the surface. After that set, I knew my training would change. Old reliable sandbag hypertrophy would be there waiting for me if I failed. I could always go back to it, but this bulk would follow the path of sandbag intensity. After lots of experimentation, I discovered what I believe is the ultimate high-rep sandbag training program. With it, I was able to reach my goal of squatting a 250-pound sandbag for a set of 50 reps, 55 actually at the time I'm making this video, and I also did a couple other crazy things too, like taking a 200-pound sandbag all the way to 250 reps, and a 175-pound sandbag for a set of 300. It isn't necessary to take things that far, by the way, but I think these examples do show how effective the program can be when followed for a long time. I've also seen some very noticeable positive changes in muscle size, and my general strength has gone through the roof. The heart of the program is the high-rep box squat. Everything is centered around it. You can think of it as the power source that feeds everything else. The further you push the box squat, the more adaptation you'll see everywhere. It makes extreme intensity accessible to anyone, and it acts as a sort of guarantee. Make yourself push further, get the extra reps every workout, and you can rest assured knowing you're on the right track. No longer must you deal with the uncertainty that comes with training. Am I doing the right thing to make my muscles grow? Is my conditioning actually improving? Did I really get stronger, or did I just somehow cheat the system? That all goes away. With the box squat, you take complete control over the outcome. Put in the work and you will see results. The program follows a 3-day split. Day 1 sandbags, Day 2 calisthenics and isolation work, Day 3 off, repeat. It can also be done using a 7-day rotation if you need to train on the same days every week. For example, Monday sandbags, Tuesday calisthenics and isolation, Wednesday off, Thursday sandbags, Friday calisthenics and isolation, Saturday and Sunday off, and repeat. There are 2 sandbag workouts, Sandbag Workout A and Sandbag Workout B, and 2 calisthenics workouts, Calisthenics Workout A and Calisthenics Workout B. Aside from some active recovery work, the final exercise in both sandbag workouts is the box squat done for one all-out set of max reps. I'll go over each day in more detail in the next section, but first I'd like to cover the box squat and how it works in the program, because as the variable that guides everything else, getting it right is essential. I'll also talk about technique and give some basic examples later on. For now though, I just want to lay down the foundation. The primary objective of the program is simple. Take a weight you could do for a hard set of 10 box squats and work your way up to a set of 50. 50 reps with a 10 rep max. That may seem an impossible task, and with many exercises it very well might be, but the box squat is special. The secret lies in the bottom position. It's a place of rest. When you're seated on a box with a sandbag on your lap, you can almost always recover just enough to do another rep. You won't want to, it will be challenging, it will take everything you have to do just one more, but if your mind is strong enough, you can keep going. The only realistic way to squat 50 reps with a 10 rep max is to make use of a technique known as rest pause. Rest pause simply means taking some time between reps to let your muscles recover so you can continue on doing more reps. The rest you get at the bottom of the sandbag box squat is perfect for this style of training because you can keep pushing for a very long time without ever letting go of the sandbag. Quick note, the goal is eventually reaching a set of 50 with a sandbag that initially challenges you for a set of 10, but there will be other weights used in the program as well. For this program, you must either have access to multiple sandbags or have the ability to change the weight of one sandbag. It will not work if you have only one weight. The frequency with that weight will be too high, and progress won't happen in the way we want it to. At the bare minimum, you'll want access to at least 3 different weights, 5 is best. This might seem like a lot, and you might not have the space or the resources for 5 sandbags. That's okay, there's a simple solution to the problem. If owning multiple sandbags isn't an option, instead buy a single adjustable sandbag with a high weight capacity. I like the IronMind bag myself. First, fill that sandbag with a base layer of sand and zip tie it down. I'll go into more detail on the exercise later, but I recommend this base weight be the weight you use for your sandbag rows. After that, build a few mini sandbags out of plastic bags and duct tape, and finally, add the mini sandbags to the adjustable sandbag as needed. A quick and simple solution. Note, if you use this method, the base layer of sand will stay the same, zip-tied inside the inner liner bag, and the mini sandbags will be placed on top of that liner bag. This has the potential to change the feel of the sandbag, and would most likely make doing any kind of horizontal lifting feel off, but the main exercises in the program are done with the sandbag in a vertical bear hug position, so it shouldn't be an issue. If you have a fixed weight bag, you can also experiment with adding weight plates to it. That seems to work well for some people. I recommend your goal sandbag, the sandbag that challenges you for a set of 10 box squats initially, be the second heaviest weight you use in the program. Keep in mind, this starting weight should challenge you for a set of 10 without any extra rest on the box between reps. That set of 10 should be a straight set. Rest pause comes later. Once you have your goal sandbag, decide on the other weights you'll use for the program. Increments of 10 to 20 pounds work best. For example, if your goal sandbag weighs 250 pounds, the other weights might be 270, 230, 210, and 190. As I mentioned before, you want your goal weight to be the second heaviest. This doesn't need to be set up in perfect increments of 20 pounds, but something along those lines is recommended. Once you've selected the weights, your first couple weeks will be spent getting your starting numbers. You'll choose a different weight every workout and complete one long rest pause set of max reps until you've made it through them all. As an example, if 250 pounds would challenge you for a set of 10 without any rest pause, in your first workout with that weight, you should be able to rest pause your way to at least 15. Once you've made it through each weight and have your base numbers, all that's left to do is come in every workout and try to beat one of your records by at least 5 reps. And once you have those numbers, by the way, there are no rules. Rotate through sandbags as you wish. Do not force yourself to use a set rotation. You shouldn't, for example, say, I haven't worked with this weight for a few weeks, so I have to do it today, even though I don't want to. Even if you end up using the same weight 5 workouts in a row, that's fine. This part is up to you. I recommend rotating through sandbag weights by feel. Depending on how the rest of the training day went, you will usually feel one weight calling out to you more than the others. There's no need to be strict about this, and I highly discourage using a set rotation. Choose the weight you'll use in a workout on the day of that workout based on what sounds exciting. If that means you only work with your lighter sandbags for a few weeks, that's okay. You'll quickly realize the reps add up fast. Your goal is squatting your 10 rep max for 50, but 50 isn't the cap. With the lighter sandbags, you will likely get closer to 100 reps or more. Eventually, the thought of pushing your heaviest weight from 15 to 20 will feel like a breeze when compared with taking your lightest from 60 to 65. Some days you won't even want to look at your heavier weights, and going for high reps with something lighter will appeal to you. This is why I recommend going by feel and not having a set rotation. The program regulates itself over time. Just to give you an example, I only worked with my main challenge sandbag once in the first couple months running the program. I spent most of my time with my lighter sandbags before really pushing the heavier weights. There are no rules other than to make sure you get at least 5 extra reps in some way every workout. One final thing about the box squats, if you want to squat 50 reps with your 10 rep max, you will eventually reach a point where you'll need upwards of 10 to 15 seconds rest between every single rep, and that's okay. These sets are not about speed. They're not about seeing how many reps you can do in a set time limit. They're about pushing yourself mind over body to go further, regardless of how long it takes. When you start a set, you need to go in knowing with complete certainty that you will sit on that box all day if that's what's required. You will hit your rep goal. It doesn't matter if some outside source says there should be a time limit. It doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. This is about tempering the mind to hard work. The high rep box squat done in this way is a true test of your dedication. If you don't want it bad enough, you will fail. If you have the desire though, you can and will develop a body and mind built for survival. Sandbag Workout A begins with the one motion lift from the ground to the chest, done for 5 single reps with 60 to 90 seconds rest between reps. Choose a weight that challenges you but lets you lift explosively. This acts as the one power movement in the program, making sure you continue to develop your explosive power while also strengthening the lift from the ground, and it also, in a sense, wakes up the nervous system, preparing you for what comes next. Do your best to put everything you have into each of the 5 reps. Treat them all as if they were some kind of max effort attempt. How you do the one motion lift from the ground to the chest is up to you. You can start with a sandbag lying vertically, horizontally, or standing upright. I recommend choosing whichever lifting style is your go-to preferred method when lifting heavy sandbags. If you use either of the 2 basic positions, lying flat on the ground horizontally or vertically, initiate the movement by first rowing the sandbag to your chest, then forcefully extending your hips until you reach a standing position. The exercise should look something like a row followed by a good morning. If you prefer starting with the sandbag standing upright, reach down and grab the sandbag with a bear hug grip, holding it tightly against your body, and initiate the movement by simultaneously pressing the ground away with your feet and driving your chest up until you reach a standing position. All variations of the exercise are effective, and there's no need to rotate through each of the 3 different starting positions. Just use whichever one you prefer. Exercise 2 is the sandbag row done from a horizontal position on the ground. To perform the exercise, straddle a sandbag and reach your hands under each side, palms facing towards each other. Pull the sandbag to your chest while maintaining a horizontal torso angle, then lower it back down to the ground under control and repeat for reps. Strive for perfect form at all times. Try your best to maintain a flat back position and drive with your legs as hard as you can. Keep in mind, the sandbag row is as much about the hamstrings as it is about the back. Admittedly, the sets and reps for this exercise can be a bit confusing until you see it written out. For me at least, it was tough to think about without also seeing it in writing, but it's really pretty basic once it clicks. When starting out, each set of rows will be sub-maximal. Start with the weight that challenges you for a max rep all-out set in the 5 to 8 rep range, and do your sets for 2 reps less than that. For example, if you could do 6 reps in an all-out set while maintaining perfect form, start with 4 reps per set. If you could do 5, start with 3. Once you have your weight and reps per set selected, you'll complete 10 sets with 60 to 90 seconds rest between sets. The total number of sets and the number of reps you do per set will wave over time. The overarching idea is to start with 10 sets, work your way down to 5, work back up to 10, and repeat. Example, let's say you pick 175 pounds for your rowing weight, and you could do an all-out set of 7 reps while maintaining perfect form if you had to. In workout 1, you'll do 10 sets of 5 reps with 60 to 90 seconds rest between sets. When you repeat the workout, you'll start with 1 set of 6 reps, followed by 8 sets of 5 reps. Workout 3 will be 2 sets of 6 reps, followed by 6 sets of 5 reps. For each additional set of 6 you do, the total number of sets will go down by 1, until eventually you reach 5 sets of 6 reps with 60 to 90 seconds rest between sets. At that point, you'll begin adding an extra set every workout, 6 sets of 6, 7 sets of 6, and so on. Continue adding an additional set every workout until you reach 10 sets of 6 reps. From there, you'll repeat the cycle, 1 set of 7, 8 sets of 6, and so on. I recommend capping the volume at 10 sets of 8 reps. Once you reach that point, add weight and start over. You can also increase the weight sooner if you'd like. This comes down to personal preference. If you manage 10 sets of 7 reps with 175 pounds, for example, you might move to a 200-pound sandbag and start over, rather than taking 175 all the way to 10 sets of 8. Again, it's much easier to visualize this when it's written out, so I highly recommend writing down each set individually in your training log. Start with 10 sets, work your way down to 5 sets, work back up to 10, and repeat. Stay honest with the sets and reps, and resist the temptation to jump ahead early. This setup lets you accumulate a lot of high-quality volume and will make you significantly stronger over time. Quick note before moving on, if you have access to some light bands, I highly recommend doing high-rep curls during your rest time between sets. Pump away 50 to 100 reps between every set, rotating between underhand, neutral, and overhand curling positions. The added blood flow will do a lot to keep your muscles and tendons healthy. Exercise 3 is the sandbag box squat, done for one all-out rest-pause set of max reps. As discussed earlier, initially you'll want to cycle through each weight until you've done them all once. After that, simply pick a sandbag weight that sounds exciting to you on the day of the workout and beat your previous record by at least 5 reps. Remember, it's okay to use the same sandbag multiple workouts in a row if that's what you want to do. You must tell yourself you'll sit on that box all day if necessary. The program will not work if you fail to get your reps. The box squat drives everything. To perform the sandbag box squat, simply hold a sandbag against your chest with a bear hug grip, sit back onto your box, stand up, and repeat. Everything is fair game here, and I highly recommend initiating your reps by rocking yourself off the box. This is not a cheat. Rocking allows the back and legs to fatigue at an even pace. Keep in mind, the box squat is not meant to be a legs exercise in this program. It should be viewed as a full body movement. I will have an entire video on box squats out soon. If you're watching sometime after this video was released, I'll have it linked in the description, but the basic form is very straightforward. Don't overthink it. When performing the box squat, set the box height so you reach parallel or close to it at the bottom of every rep. Parallel means your thighs should be roughly parallel to the ground and the crease of your hips should be at or slightly below the tops of your knees. If the box is too low, your legs will face a much greater challenge and you'll be limited on how much weight you can use. This means less of a stimulus for the muscles of the back. Set too high and the legs won't be nearly as involved. The added weight you'll need to use to compensate for the smaller range of motion also means more fatigue, and managing recovery will become much more challenging. A parallel position is the perfect balance of weight and range of motion, evenly stimulating the most amount of muscle and letting you push your sets furthest. After squats, one final step remains in the workout: direct work for the posterior chain and abs. This part is essential, don't skip it. Not only will this direct work increase strength and muscle size, but it also acts as a form of active recovery. You will need it. For the posterior chain, choose either band good mornings with a relatively light band, something you could rep out for at least 30 to 40 reps in a set if you had to, or some kind of bodyweight back extension. I personally favor the 45-degree hyperextension, but any variation will do. Once you have your exercise, do 100 reps. I like splitting this up into sets of 30, 25, 20, 15, and 10, but any rep scheme will do. 4 by 25, 34, 33, 33, just do 100 reps. This should not be intense or even remotely challenging when compared with the rest of the workout. This is about pumping blood into the muscles, not causing muscle damage. After the posterior chain exercise, choose a basic bodyweight ab exercise, crunches, sit-ups, flutter kicks, leg lifts, whatever, and do 100 reps. Finish with 50 oblique crunches per side and call it a day. Note: yes, there are more efficient methods out there for working the abs. Those methods also require more effort, and you will not have any extra effort to spare when running this program. High rep sets get the job done without wearing you down any more than you already are. Working the abs in this way also has direct carryover to the sandbag box squat. High rep training conditions the abs to keep going for a long time, which is exactly what you'll need to push your box squats to the extreme. The Sandbag Intensity program rotates back and forth between sandbag and calisthenics workouts. Sandbag Workout A, Calisthenics Workout A, Sandbag Workout B, Calisthenics Workout B, repeat. But for the sake of keeping things organized, I'll cover Sandbag Workout B next, and we'll get to the calisthenics part of the program later. Everything about Sandbag Workout B is exactly the same as Sandbag Workout A, aside from the second exercise. As with Sandbag Workout A, begin this workout with 5 powerful one-motion lifts from the ground to the chest with 60 to 90 seconds rest between reps. Again, there's no need to rotate through each of the 3 different starting positions: horizontal, vertical, and standing upright. Just use whichever position you prefer. Exercise 2 is the bear hug carry. To perform the exercise, hold a sandbag against your chest with a bear hug grip and start walking. There's no need to complicate the form. It really is that simple. Choose a weight you could carry for somewhere in the 30 to 40 second range and do your sets for 10 seconds less than that. For example, if you could carry a weight for an all-out set of 30 seconds, start with 20 seconds per set. Once you have your weight and distance per set selected, follow the same setup used for rows in Sandbag Workout A. 10 sets with 60 to 90 seconds rest between sets, working from 10 sets down to 5 and back up again. Note: taking a heavy bear hug carry to complete failure is extremely mentally fatiguing. It's unlikely anyone could manage it 10 times in a single workout, let alone follow that up with an all-out set of box squats. For this reason, your starting sets will be done for 10 seconds less than your max, and you'll move up in increments of only 5 seconds every workout. I recommend capping this at 10 sets of 40 seconds maximum, otherwise the volume becomes too much and the effort level becomes too high. Stay within the 20 to 40 second range if possible. If you have access to some kind of platform, place your sandbag on it between sets. The platform could be a second sandbag if you have one, a bench, a sturdy chair, anything. The lift from the ground was worked earlier in the day with the one motion lift from the ground to the chest and was strengthened during Sandbag Workout A with rows. All that matters here is the carry. As with rows in Sandbag Workout A, I highly recommend spending your rest time between sets doing high rep curls with a light band. Pump away 50 to 100 reps between every set, rotating between underhand, neutral, and overhand curling positions. After carries, it's time once again for the all-out set of box squats. Choose your weight, settle in, and beat your previous record by at least 5 reps. Finish the workout with direct work for the posterior chain and abs, and call it a day. The calisthenics part of the program will be done using high-intensity circuits. Circuits, at least in this program, are simply a collection of exercises completed back-to-back non-stop while racing the clock, done with the goal of increasing speed every workout. Increasing speed increases training density, density being the ratio between reps and time. 100 reps in 9 minutes has a greater training density than 100 reps in 10 minutes, as an example. Density is a viable form of progressive overload, equal to that of adding weight or reps. Increase training density, and you will make gains in both muscle and strength endurance at the same time. For this program, each circuit will be made up of 4 exercises and will be completed in the 20 to 25 minute range. 20 to 25 minutes is short enough to allow for continuous high-intensity work, letting you sufficiently stimulate your muscles and cardiovascular system without pushing the volume unnecessarily high. A quick circuit like this also allows for more time spent on isolation work, another vital part of the program. Because the window of time is so small, long continuous circuit setups like the typical 10 down are nearly impossible to manage. For this reason, in this program, we'll be using ladders and going for rounds. Rather than a 10 down, you'll instead use something like a 6-5-4 or a 5-3-2 setup. These ladders make it easy to continue adding work over time while staying within the 20 to 25 minute time frame. Using the 5-3-2 ladder as an example, which is 5 reps of each exercise, then 3 reps of each exercise, then 2 reps of each exercise, that's 1 round. All you have to do is complete the ladder as many times as you can within the 20 to 25 minute window. If you complete the ladder 3 times in 24 minutes the first time you attempt it, come back next workout and try to complete it 3 times in 23 minutes and 59 seconds or less. From there, you'll continue working with the circuit until you reach 20 minutes, at which point you'll add another round and start over. Here's an example circuit. This is probably a bit unnecessary, but I want to make sure everyone knows what I mean by the word ladder, so let me read it all out. The example circuit is pull-ups, dips, hanging leg raises, and pike push-ups done using the 5-3-2 ladder. Here's workout 1. Begin the workout with a set of 5 pull-ups, then do a set of 5 dips, then a set of 5 hanging leg raises, and a set of 5 pike push-ups, then move on to a set of 3 pull-ups, a set of 3 dips, 3 hanging leg raises, 3 pike push-ups, then do 2 pull-ups, 2 dips, 2 hanging leg raises, and 2 pike push-ups. That's 1 round. In this example, that first round took less than 20 minutes, so it's completed again. A set of 5 pull-ups, 5 dips, and so on. 2 rounds completed, and we're still under 20 minutes, so we'll go for another round. 5 pull-ups, 5 dips, 5 hanging leg raises, 5 pike push-ups, 3 pull-ups, 3 dips, and so on. After 3 rounds, we hit 21 minutes and 30 seconds, placing us in the 20 to 25 minute range. Perfect. In this example, we'll continue attempting the exact same circuit until we complete it in 20 minutes or less, at which point we'll add another round. For example, in workout 1, we did 3 rounds and it took 21 minutes and 30 seconds to complete. In workout 2, we might again do 3 rounds and it'll take us 20 minutes and 50 seconds to complete, and we'll just keep going in that way until eventually we get under 20 minutes. Let's say workout 11, you did 3 rounds in 19 minutes and 59 seconds. Perfect. Next workout, we'll complete the ladder 4 times through, record our time, and continue on. Workout 12 might be 4 rounds and take 23 minutes and 20 seconds to complete. Workout 13 is 4 rounds and takes 23 minutes and 11 seconds, and so on. Both calisthenics workouts follow the same formula. Step 1, calisthenics circuit. Step 2, isolation work for the neck. Step 3, isolation work for the arms and shoulders. The circuit in Calisthenics Workout A is as follows: neutral pull-ups, diamond push-ups, ab wheel rollouts, or hanging leg raises if you don't have an ab wheel, and pike push-ups, done using a 6-5-4 ladder for max rounds in the 20 to 25 minute range. Again, that means you'll complete 6 reps of each exercise, then 5 of each exercise, then 4 reps of each exercise. That's 1 round. Continue completing rounds until you reach the 20 to 25 minute range. Every workout, come in and try to beat your record with the circuit by at least 1 second, and continue on until you complete it in under 20 minutes. Once you do, add an extra round and keep going. After the circuit, it's time to isolate the neck. Complete 4 sets of 25 neck curls and neck extensions, alternating back and forth between each. That's 4 sets of neck curls and 4 sets of neck extensions. This includes warm-up sets. Each set should be progressively heavier until you reach one max effort set close but not all the way to failure. I would not recommend training the neck to complete failure. There's no need to rest between sets. When I ran the program, I used a band-loaded head harness, but any training style will get the job done. Bands, plates, or even bridging, though you might need to go for lower reps each set if you plan on bridging. 4 sets of 25 would be a bit excessive there unless you're already extremely advanced. Direct isolation work for the arms and shoulders is made up of 3 parts. First is forearms. Complete 1 set to failure per arm in the 10 to 30 rep range for each of the 6 forearm movements: flexion, extension, supination, pronation, radial deviation, and ulnar deviation. I realize recommending an exercise for each of the 6 forearm movements might seem unnecessary. That's a lot of work for such a small area, but you'll have to trust me on this one. Most lifters have a lot of untapped potential here. If you've been neglecting any one of these movements, you have some serious gains waiting for you. Enjoy. Directly targeting each of these movements also has some very positive effects on the health of the wrists and elbows. When I ran the program, I used resistance bands to work each of these movements separately, but if you don't have time for that, rice bucket training or leveraging a steel mace are great alternatives. If you're very short on time, you can skip most of this. I think it's all worth it, but life is busy and I get that. At the very least, I recommend doing wrist curls and wrist extensions. Next is a giant set made up of 3 different exercises: bicep curls, tricep extensions, and a shoulder exercise, completed twice through, done with the goal of reaching muscular failure in the 10 to 30 rep range for each exercise. A giant set just means each exercise is completed one after the other without any rest between sets. Do a set of bicep curls, then a set of tricep extensions, and finish with a set for the shoulders. Move from one exercise to the next without resting between sets. After you've made it through each exercise once, rest for 2 to 3 minutes and repeat the giant set a second time. For the shoulders, I recommend pull-aparts or face pulls. These exercises work both the rear and side delts at the same time and are great for posture. If you can't do either of these, side lateral raises are another great option. Finally, end the workout with tricep pushdowns done for 1 set of 100 reps. Complete 1 long rest pause set of 100 reps with a weight you could ordinarily do for a hard set of 30 to 50 and call it a day. Progression with these isolation movements won't always happen every workout, that's just how it goes, but do your best to bring some intensity to your isolation work. Try to increase reps and/or weight whenever possible. Some final notes on the isolation work. When I ran the program, I trained my neck with a band-loaded head harness and my arms/shoulders with a chest expander and resistance bands. I mention this for transparency, but the exact equipment you use isn't important. There are countless tools that will get the job done. Just use whatever you have available. As long as you follow the basic guidelines, you will see results. It would be highly unnecessary for me to list every possible option for every exercise, so I'll leave this part up to personal preference. For example, one of the exercises is a curl. Long, drawn-out lists detailing which curl is best makes for good fitness content, but at the end of the day, a curl is a curl. Don't stress about it. If you have dumbbells available, use dumbbell curls in the program. If you have a barbell, use that. Machines, bands, a chest expander, gymnastics rings, kettlebells, a backpack filled with weight, all of these things work. For the forearm exercises, a band is effective, but most tools can be manipulated to work the forearms in a similar way. The same is true for each movement. Pick an exercise you like, force yourself to become stronger with that exercise over time, and you will grow. Calisthenics Workout B is set up in exactly the same way as Calisthenics Workout A, a circuit followed by isolation work. Today's circuit is pull-ups, dips, hanging leg raises, and decline pike push-ups done using a 5-3-2 ladder for max rounds in the 20 to 25 minute range. Use the same progression model laid out before, max rounds in 20 to 25 minutes with the goal of completing the circuit faster every workout. After the circuit, do the exact same isolation work used in Calisthenics Workout A. The isolation work is the same in both workouts. One final note on these calisthenics circuits, always feel free to substitute exercises as needed. The circuits are set up as pull, push, ab exercise, push. Maintaining this balance between push and pull is important, but the exact exercises you use aren't. Say, for example, you find pull-ups too difficult. Feel free to use some band assistance or to do inverted rows instead. Inverted rows are a horizontal pull rather than a vertical pull like pull-ups are, but as I said, maintaining balance between push and pull is the most important part, not specific exercises. If any one of the exercises listed in the program are too difficult, swap them out for something easier. Decline pike push-ups might become standard pike push-ups on the floor, pike push-ups with bent knees, or even a hybrid movement like Hindu push-ups. If any of the exercises are too easy, I also recommend switching to something more challenging. If diamond push-ups are too easy, switch to feet elevated diamond push-ups. If you have insane shoulder strength and decline pike push-ups are too easy, you might try wall-assisted handstand push-ups. There are no rules. I believe the circuits I listed are pretty balanced, but everyone is different, so make changes as needed. When I ran the program, I used a 3-day rotation. Day 1 sandbags, day 2 calisthenics/isolation, day 3 off, repeat. This setup worked very well for me, but it does mean training on different days every week. For example, Monday Sandbag Workout A, Tuesday Calisthenics Workout A, Wednesday off, Thursday Sandbag Workout B, Friday Calisthenics Workout B, Saturday off, Sunday Sandbag Workout A, Monday Calisthenics Workout A, and so on. If this doesn't fit with your schedule, you might instead use the following 7-day split. Monday Sandbag Workout A, Tuesday Calisthenics Workout A, Wednesday off, Thursday Sandbag Workout B, Friday Calisthenics Workout B, Saturday off, Sunday off, repeat. One final very important note on the program, take a full deload week after every row/bear hug carry 10-5-10 cycle. Example, you start with 10 sets, work your way down to 5 sets, and eventually work your way back up to 10. You'll want to place your deload week after the week where you do 9 sets per exercise. If you use the second setup I listed where you train on the same days every week, that would mean you'll take a full deload week off from training every 11th week. This is a high intensity program and you will need that deload week. During that week off, don't do any heavy lifting of any kind. You don't need to, nor should you lay in bed all day every day. Staying active will help with recovery, just don't do anything too overly taxing. Here are a few examples of things you might work on during the deload week: rebounding, jump rope, animal movement, light band work, yoga, hiking, basic mobility stuff, or something else along those lines. And there's the program. The results I've seen from it have been incredible. Expect an epic transformation video sometime in the next couple months. I hope you'll give it a try, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out in the comments. I know some of the programming stuff might have seemed a bit overcomplicated. Once you get started, you'll see it's really pretty simple, but I am here to help if anything isn't making sense. If you enjoyed this program and want some extra info and motivation on strength endurance, intensity, and the true joy that comes with pushing beyond your limits, I hope you'll check out my new book, Sandbag Intensity, over on Amazon. Again, I'll have a link to it in the description below. I know it's a lot to ask, but if you like the book, it would help me out a ton if you'd be willing to leave me a review over on Amazon as well. That lets me know all the time I put into creating the book and into making this video on the program were worth it. That and the full 6 months I spent committed to the program myself to make sure it actually works. It also lets me know I'm not being silly for choosing the path of quality and accessibility over quantity. With all the time and resources I spent on creating a clean, fully published book, all just to sell it for cheap on Amazon and give the program away for free here on YouTube, I could have done what most others do and made 10 different low-effort $50 PDF programs, put them on my website, and called it a day. I really don't want to do that if I can help it. I like the idea of making the highest quality thing I can. It does take a very long time to do though. The reviews let me know I'm on the right path, and also help with getting the book recommended to others who might like it, which is huge. As always, good luck with your training, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.